Let's see. We have 7 months on Capitol Hill, full time legislative work, a stipend, and it's specifically for people who care about women's policy. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this fellowship, but I guess that's why I'm here. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm glad you found this corner of the internet. I'm Zia, a nonprofit professional, and I spend my free time finding opportunities to share because sharing is caring. Isn't that what Barney said? Okay, that's just what our parents say, I guess. Today we're breaking down the con- Today we're breaking down the Congressional Fellowship on Women in Public Policy, administered by the Women's Congressional Policy Institute, or WCPI for short. You're working a full time role on Capitol Hill doing real legislative work, so let's get into everything you need to know. So, first, what is WCPI? Quick background on who's running this. The Women's Congressional Policy Institute is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization based in Washington, D.C. Their whole mission is centered on training the next generation of public policy leaders, specifically through the lens of women's experiences, needs, and perspectives. You may be asking yourself, why am I sharing this program and what makes it stand out in a sea of fellowships and from other fellowships I've shared on my channel? Well, to tell you the truth, this is the only graduate fellowship program on Capitol Hill focused on women's issues, full stop. There are a lot of fellowships out there, of course, that center around women's policy and issues. However, this is for people whose work sits at the intersection of gender equity and policy. Now, let's talk logistics because I know that's what you actually want to know. Again, I'm taking this information directly from the website and just making videos about it, so feel free to go ahead and click the link in my description below. But before you do that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because, of course, that helps me out tremendously. Now, back to the full program. The fellowship runs from January through July, so about 7 months. The 2027 cohort would follow the same structure: orientation in January, office placement shortly after, and wrapping up at the end of July. During that time, you are working 40 hours a week in a congressional office. No shadowing, no fetching coffee. You're serving as a legislative assistant on policy issues affecting women. That means you're drafting memos, researching legislation, preparing briefings, and doing actual substantive work. And on top of that, fellows meet weekly for issue seminars directed by WCPI staff. So you're not just learning on the job, you're also getting structured, expert led education throughout the program. That combination, real work plus ongoing education, makes this so valuable. You're building a network, a skill set, and a resume all at the same time, as is typical of fellowships. Now let's talk eligibility because I want to make sure that you don't count yourself out before you even look at the application. To be eligible, you need to be currently enrolled in a graduate program or you need to have completed a graduate program within the last 2 years before the fellowship start date, which for the 2027 cohort means January 2027. You also need to have completed at least 9 credit hours of graduate coursework before you apply. So, if you're brand new to a program and haven't really gotten started yet, it might be worth waiting a cycle and adding to your opportunity spreadsheet because, hello, you need to keep up with these opportunities. Even if you don't qualify for them now, you will in the future. Speak it into existence. Why don't you? And here's something I appreciate about WCPI. They're open about the fact that fellows can come from virtually any field: policy, law, public health, sociology, education, communications. If your academic background connects to issues that affect women, there's a pathway here for you. WCPI also explicitly promotes equal opportunity and does not discriminate on the basis of age, race, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, political affiliation, disability, or veteran status. To summarize the application guidelines for the fellowship, you need to have your resume, your official academic transcripts, 3 letters of recommendation, responses to 2 essay questions, and your fully completed application form submitted by the deadline. No exceptions will be made for incomplete applications after the deadline, so make sure you have all of your items completed. Okay, we know that eligibility is one thing, but what actually makes a strong candidate for this program? Fellows are selected based on academic competence and a demonstrated interest in the public policy process. But beyond grades and credentials, they're looking for people who are articulate, adaptable, and have strong writing skills. I want to sit on that for a second because I think people underestimate how much writing matters in policy work. If you can communicate clearly and persuasively on paper, you will stand out. And the adaptability piece, that's not throwaway language. Working in a congressional office means that priorities shift constantly. Bills move, hearings get scheduled last minute. You need to be someone who can pivot without falling apart. Now, if you're the kind of person who thrives in fast paced, high stakes environments and you have a genuine passion for issues that impact women, you have to apply. All right, I said all of that, but let's talk about the money. Fellows receive a stipend of approximately 4,400 gross per month for the full 7 months, January through July. That's roughly $30,800 for the program. On top of that, there's an additional $1,000 provided specifically for health insurance because health coverage is not something you want to be scrambling for. Now, a few things to plan around. You are responsible for your own transportation to DC and for finding your own housing. DC is not a cheap city. I can tell you that firsthand. I won't sugarcoat that. But with the stipend, it's workable, especially if you plan ahead and look into shared housing options or sublets for the spring summer stretch. You can join the Facebook groups, put out feelers there, and you can also look into co-op housing, which is available. The 2026 fellowship was funded by grants from Novartis, PepsiCo, the Khan Education Foundation, and the North America Taiwanese Women's Association, along with contributions from individual donors, including a number of former fellows, which I think says a lot about how people feel about this program after they've been through it. You may have a lot of follow up questions because I did too when I first read through everything. So let me just walk through some of the most common ones that I saw on the website. The first question being, do I have to be studying political science or women's studies to apply? Nope, not at all. WCPI is pretty explicit that fellows can come from any field. What matters most is that you can demonstrate a genuine interest in policy making. Next, can I apply if I already graduated? Yes, as long as you've completed your graduate program within 2 years of the January 2027 start date, you are good. So if you wrapped up in 2025 or 2026, you're still in the window. If you're further out than that, unfortunately, this one won't be available to you for this cycle. Is this program paid? Like actually paid? Yes, and I've already broken down those numbers, but just to recap, approximately $4,400 gross per month for 7 months, plus a 1K stipend towards health insurance. It's a stipend, not a salary, so factor in taxes, but yes, you are compensated. What if I'm not sure I'm competitive enough? Is another question that you may be thinking. But honestly, even if you feel that way, apply anyway. You have to. I mean that. The worst case scenario is you don't get it this cycle. The worst case scenario is that you don't get in this cycle and you have to have a stronger application next time. The best case scenario, you get to spend 7 months doing meaningful work on Capitol Hill. The risk reward here is pretty obvious. So, when is the deadline? Is another question that comes up. And one of the most important ones, actually. So, the application and all supporting materials are due Friday, July 10th, 2026. And that's for the 2027 cohort. So, if you have time but not unlimited time, start pulling your materials together now. Alrighty, folks, that's the full breakdown on the WCPI Congressional Fellowship on Women in Public Policy. If this resonates with you, if you've been looking for a way to do meaningful work in policy spaces, I really think that this one is worth your time and your energy to apply. That deadline is July 10th, 2026. I want you to do yourself a favor. Don't wait until July 9th, unless you're a procrastinator like me and you do some of your best work when you're under pressure. If you found this video helpful, drop a comment, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe if you want more content like this. I cover fellowships, opportunities, and career stuff for people who are trying to do interesting things in the world. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.